In this continuing series, 1960s steam workings are covered south of Moss Vale to the Victorian border and west as far as West Wyalong and Narrandera. Past-present perspectives are also featured, showing significant changes to the railway infrastructure and action on long-closed branch lines. The final steam-hauled Riverina Express in June 1964 is also included. .3326 is seen on an up Kosciuszko skiers special between Cooma and Queanbeyan in August 1965. Earlier daylight working was necessary due to a midnight strike curfew on that day. November 1965 sees 3638 on a down Goulburn-Canberra working near Tarago. Reaching Canberra, 3638 shares shunting duties with diesel 4824. .3638 is then employed on an upgoods between Canberra and Queanbeyan. At Queanbeyan, 3633 pulls forward and couples up to 3638, forming a light passenger train for Goulburn. This working served to transfer one of the locos to Goulburn Depot. Having detached from their train, the 36s are joined by 3214 en route to the depot, passing a derailed 40 class diesel. January 1966, 3620 makes light work of a Goulburn to Canberra passenger train near Tarago. The train makes a spirited departure from Bungendore. The attractive station building has survived, however, the water tank is long gone. And from the north end. Arrival at Canberra. The station has since been replaced by a modern structure. (3214) and (3324) depart Goulburn, also in January 1966, with a special to Captain's Flat. The special takes the branch line towards Captain's Flat at Bungendore. Garrett workings on the branch were rarely captured on film. The branch was closed in 1968, but specially reopened the following year for the making of the movie Ned Kelly. Utilising 440 number 1243, displaying original number 176. Captain's Flat Station is now a private residence, and some other original infrastructure also survive. The 1966 special heads away from Captain's Flat, crossing a bridge which no longer bears the weight of Garrett's or double headers. North end of Bungendore, looking little changed since the 1960s. The special makes a steady departure. June 1966 and 3326 arrives at Queanbeyan with a Goulburn-bound passenger train passing a 48 class diesel. The passage of time sees Queanbeyan Station as imposing as ever. Just out of Queanbeyan, Burbong Bridge is crossed. Another impressive structure still serving its original function. Upon reaching Goulburn, 3326 is serviced at the depot. Once a busy facility, servicing and maintaining a variety of loco types, the depot, precinct and roundhouse is now a museum. Meanwhile, a well-turned-out 5910 prepares to leave Goulburn's North Yard with an unusually heavy mixed, including a set of passenger carriages. The consist passes the quarry at North Goulburn. January 1968, 3803 heads south with a mixed, also at North Goulburn Quarry. The 38, having reached Goulburn, runs light towards the depot for servicing. Notice the water spray provided at each coal chute in order to limit dust. Fire cleaning is then carried out on the de-ashing ramp prior to stabling in the roundhouse. February 1967, and 3818 and 3824 heading up goods out of Goulburn, crossing Mulwaree Ponds Viaduct. Still a fine sight today. The track in the foreground is the disused Crookwell branch. April 1968. 3224 and 3214 approach Goulburn with a special passenger train from Sydney. pair provide a spectacle for enthusiasts as they detach and shunt at Goulburn Station. A spruced up 5132 then takes the special on to Crookwell. This branch closed in 1985. December 1963 at Yass Junction. A focus of interest as the branch had lost its passenger service in 1958. Loco number 1307 was provided to work a special mixed and other consists along the branch to Yass Town. The Loco runaround at Yass Junction, a much quieter place today. After the branch finally closed to all traffic in 1988, local attempts to reopen the line were unsuccessful. Deterioration of Yass Bridge in more recent years has further thwarted efforts to reopen the branch. "1301, seen here in Yass Town Depot, is now on display at the New South Wales Rail Transport Museum, Thirlmere. Whilst 1307 is plinth at Yass Town Station. April 1968. 3616 and 3801 arrive at Yass Junction on the main line with a down special passenger train. The elegant station building still services passengers. A mixed train with 3214 in charge approaches Geelong in January 1966. And leaves the main line for the Burrawa branch at Geelong Junction. The return working after leaving Burrawa. The Burrawa branch was closed in 1987. Back to the main line during the same period, and 3016 eases the goods into Harden. The imposing station building reflecting a busier era. Binalong Station, east of Haddon, though neglected, still survives. The original 1883 built station, some distance away, was replaced by the present structure when the track was rerouted in 1915. June 1964, and 3815 pulls into Binalong with the final steam-hauled up Riverina Express. June 1966, and 3324 heads an upmixed from Haddon en route Young and Cara. On reaching Cara, 3324 shunts the yard along with 5595, a southern valve gear standard goods. The scenic Tumut branch from Cootamundra was always popular for enthusiast trips. September 1967 saw 3088 and 3014 on such a working, complete with photo stops. The short turntable at Tumut required both locos to be separated from their tenders. The enthusiasts were keen to help, contributing their collective weight to turntable balance. Tumut Depot can be seen in the background. The train then heads back to Cootamundra. The branch was closed in 1984. The impressive spans of Gundagai Trestle Bridge now no longer rumbling under the weight of trains. Gundagai's station, modelled on Molong, has since been restored by the local community and, in common with the bridge, is the longest timber structure of its type surviving in New South Wales. Late afternoon light picks out loco detail as the train arrives at Tumbarumba. During the 1960s, Tumbarumba was unusual and possibly unique in dispatching passenger trains to the north, south, east and west. From Tumbarumba, 3830 is motive power for the run back to Sydney. Seen at Jindalee, and Morrison Hill. Further west now, and 3056, and an up mixed from Narrandera, en route West Wyalong in March 1966. Little infrastructure survives at West Wyalong, save for the ubiquitous grain silos. Also in March 1966, and an up mixed from Narrandera heads for Wyalong. 3047 in charge. .3088 eases into Wyalong Central in September 1967 with an up goods including stock wagons before taking water. 3014 with the goods near Temora. Notice the interesting assortment of cargo, including farm equipment. January 1968 and 3016 with an up Rankin Springs goods shunts the cattle docks at Barmedman. Much has now been swept aside at this location. With ample water supplies behind the tender, the train heads for Temora. There's now little evidence of the small roadside station of Reefton. 3016 hurries through. By sunset, the train approaches Temora. In the same period, 3088 hauls at down goods south of Reefton. And approaching Barmedman, where water is replenished. Cootamundra 1963 and Pacific 3802 shunts the down Southwest Mail. Rides the footway as the mail heads south towards Junee. Junee, a busy centre and junction for the Southwestern Railway to Narrandera and beyond, is a classic railway town and operational headquarters for virtually the whole of the South and Southwest region. The impressive 1880s built station reflecting an important rail hub. The extensive station yard and historic precinct still attracts enthusiasts and tourists. Junee Depot, one of Australia's largest, boasting a full roundhouse with 42 stabling roads, is also now partly used as a museum. October 1963, and the Standard Goods shunts Junee Yard. Several 57 class are set aside at the depot, having been replaced by diesels several years earlier. One of the most distant steam workings by 1965 was the Temora Mail. With 3014 in charge, the mail is seen at Beckham, en route Griffith. And at Griffith Station. The connection to the main western line between Hillston and Roto was severed in 1986. Another distant railway centre was Narrandera. The depot looking rather worse for wear these days. The southerly reaches of New South Wales railways extended to Albury and across the border into Victoria at Wodonga and Bandiana. 3818 is seen at Albury Station after arriving with a special in September 1965. The historic change of gauge station still looks much as it always has. Even down to the Victorian broad gauge bay platform. Victorian Loco R749 takes a special train south from Albury across the border. .3818 reverses its train south of Albury for a photo stop. South of the border, photographically hard to resist, locos of both states are shown side by side at Bandiana exchange sidings. The next day, 3818 heads north out of Albury with its special. At Wagga Wagga, the special is taken over by 3142 and 3020 for a ride down the Tumbarumba branch. After loco turning at Tumbarumba, some passengers take the opportunity for a brief footplate ride. With locos freshly watered, the special heads back to Wagga Wagga. The Tumbarumba branch beyond Ladysmith was closed in 1974, the remainder in 1987. Wagga Wagga, once servicing the Tumbarumba branch, still retains its impressive station building. An ideal round-trip day excursion route is from Sydney to Wollongong and return via Moss Vale and Picton, or the reverse direction. Such a working took place in July 1966 with triple-headed 32 class locos, 3322, 3390 and 3246 as motive power. Two of the engines were employed for the first part of the journey to Unandra. The full trio is seen at West Unandra. Ocean View, Robertson, And Burrawang. 3827 took over at Moss Vale, returning the train to Sydney via Picton. November 16, 1996, and 3801 leans into Malden Curve with a special to Moss Vale, reminiscent of the final steam-hauled down Riverina Express, 3827 taking the honours June 20, 1964. Much railway infrastructure has changed or disappeared since the 1960s. Scenes like this are now part of history. Disused and neglected epitaphs of a bygone age litter the railway landscape with little hope of reclaiming their former use. Such is progress and the march of modernisation. Fortunately, however, a number of steam-era workhorses covering several classes are still occasionally able to be seen hauling special trains. 3801, possibly the most well-known example, makes regular appearances on the main line and special events. .3830 is also a regular performer at special events. '59 class 5910. A number of other classes have been restored to operational condition, gloriously recreating bygone times.